Hi, my name is Andrea Buckley, and I'm a licensed mental health therapist in the state of Michigan. And welcome to the Connection Diaries. Hey, y'all. Okay, so I have to confess, the last 2 weeks have been very, 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 very hard. February brought me some news that really just was a huge curveball and really hard for me to process. And so I took about a 2 week hiatus from posting, from content creation, which is something that I really, 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 really love. And so that was really hard, but I had to do what was best for me to nurture my relationship to myself. And I spent a lot of time with the folks that I describe as the loves of my life. And this series was supposed to be me interviewing those people, but instead, I just have been spending time being present with those people. And that's enough for me. And so we're going to do a little bit of a pivot for this series. And I'm going to drop two videos since I was absent for 2 weeks. And we're just going to wrap up February and just, call it a doozy and hope that March is better as we enter or exit the winter season and go into the spring season. I want to be more and more present for my audience in a way that feels authentic, that feels joy filled, that feels enriching. And so I cannot do this work if I don't first take care of myself. And that's what my whole brand is about, this idea of relationship with self and how your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship that you will ever have in this life, that you will be with you forever. And so a lot of times in our lives, right, we're not really taught how to be in relationship with ourselves. We're taught who we are in relationship to everybody else in our lives. And so what I want to do is spend some time getting us to think about our relationship to ourselves. And so for today's video, what I want to do is I'm going to interview myself. I'm going to spend time with myself and kind of showcase to you all what self-intimacy looks like. A lot of times people do not have time to be intimate with themselves, to practice self-awareness, to check in with themselves because of the fast-pacedness of life, right? We're always on the go. We always have to do something for someone else, whether it be working or parenting or showing up for a friend or making additional money to make ends meet, whatever your theme may be. My cat's over there scratching the food. See, something is always pulling our attention. And so, what I want to do is I'm going to ask myself a series of questions. And then, what I'll do after the video is post those questions at the bottom of this video. And the idea behind that is you can be able to, Simba, you can be able to ask those questions to yourself to begin to practice self intimacy, to begin to nurture your relationship with yourself. And so I have a deck, and the name of this deck is the Self Reflection Deck. You might not be able to see it because of the screen, but this deck comes from a company called We're Not Really Strangers, and I love their decks. I have the one where you can play with friends, but this one is about you. So it's something that you do intimately by yourself, but I'm going to showcase this process of me doing it with myself for you all today. And so this is going to be part one. I'm going to post a part two, and again, we're going to start fresh again in March with a new series. So thank y'all so much for hanging in there for me. All right. All right, we're back. I had to put Simba in the room because he was making so much noise, and that's just not going to work. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the cards and just pick and answer them. And I want you to think about how often we ask ourselves these kinds of questions. So think of this as like a mini interview with yourself, checking in with yourself. So the first question we have is, what am I wearing when I have the best time? What do I always regret wearing? I would say for me, I'm always wearing something comfortable, something that feels loose on my body, something that I can kind of dance in, something that I feel a little bit free in. And I most likely regret wearing heels unless it's a heel that's comfortable. So I'm all about comfortable fashion. I want to look cute, but I want to be comfy. And so that is me. See what else we have. Let's shuffle it up a little bit. All righty. What have I been sensitive to lately? I've been sensitive to a lot of stuff. My intuition is very strong. If you're a sensitive person, I want you to use that as a gift, because you'll realize that your intuition is really strong. But I've been sensitive to what's been going on in the world, whether it be in my own individual world, whether it be in the worlds of my clients, whether it be just society as a whole, what's happening in the U.S., what's happening abroad. Like there's so much going on in the world. So I would say I've been sensitive to that. Yeah. Another thought that just popped in my head is just being sensitive to joy. Allow myself to be happy, to smile, to access joy even in the midst of the heaviness and in the pain. It's something I've been thinking about a lot as well. So that's that one. Ooh, I like this one. It says, I want to thank myself for, and then there's like a little blank. All right. I want to thank myself for showing up for me, for being there for me, for advocating for myself when it was hard, for allowing myself to feel when it was hard, for pivoting when I needed to pivot, you know, letting go when I need to let go. And I want to thank myself for just showing up and being present and trying the best that I can every day. All right, let's just do this one, next one. How would I describe my relationship with myself in one word? I would say the word that instantly popped in my mind was whole, like WHOLE. And I think about that word because I hold space for my whole self. So that is the parts that are shiny that I like to showcase to the world, the parts that I rather hide, the parts that, I'm still struggling to accept, the parts that I feel insecure about, the parts that are goofy. So I would say whole. That would be my one word. Okay, let's just keep going right here. What can I be? How can I be kinder to myself for today? Hmm. I would say for me, slowing down, slowing down. There's no rush. There's no rush. Reminding my nervous system of that. Releasing shame, remembering my worth, reminding myself of who I am and who I belong to, who I was created by, that I'm held, that things are working out for my good, that I can rest, that I can slow down and things won't fall apart. And so that's what's coming up for me for that. Mm. Let's do this one. We'll end with this one, I think. This is a good one. What did the people who raised me teach me about love? What lessons do I want to keep? And what do I want to challenge? This is a good one. It's so relevant because we're in the month of love, right? February. And so for me, I think the people who raised me taught me that love was unconditional, that love was something that you did in a way that meant you sacrificed yourself. That love meant that you had to abandon yourself in whatever way that may look like, whether that be time, energy, effort, finances. Um, yeah, that love makes mistakes, that love tries its best, that love sometimes is not enough. What lessons do I want to keep? I believe that love is powerful. I believe that love is beautiful. I believe that love is something that's worth fighting for. But what do I want to challenge? I want to challenge that love is something that is self sacrificing, that love is something that I have to abandon myself for, that love is something that is not also honest and respectful and considerate and kind and gentle, that sometimes love causes us to let go just as much as it causes us to hold on, that love, that it is not necessarily solely self-seeking, but it's also honest, and it's something that is long suffering, yes, but it's something that also isn't afraid to allow people to live in freedom, to see people who as they are, to accept them, and to love them sometimes from a distance if that's necessary. But most importantly, I would love to also be something that I get to give to myself, that I get to receive. That love for others is important, but love for myself is also important, if not more important. And so that would be the lesson that I would want to hold space for. And I'm curious to see like how you all challenge love, the definition of love, the love that you grew up on, the love that you want to bring into your next steps in your journey. I want a love that's rooted in pleasure, that's rooted in mutual respect, that's rooted in radical honesty, And that's rooted in freedom, in this fearlessness, a love that lets go and a love that holds on, and knowing when to do one or the other. Not a love that is just sacrificial, a love that is burdensome, a love that is rooted in suffering. That's not what I want anymore. So, yes, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for patience as I took a 2 week break. And as always, please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. And this video is not just for you to watch, it's also for you to connect with. And so at the bottom of the screen, please take some time to do the journaling prompts. They are for you to be self intimate with yourself, to take a moment to pause in the busyness of life and say, check in with you. Because you deserve it. You deserve that quality time and that intimacy. So always remember that you are loved, that you are enough, and stay inspired.